Picture this. A conservative superstar is assassinated in broad daylight. The entire country is just moments away from a full-blown civil war. The motive seems completely obvious. But what if everything you think you know is just flat out wrong? But hang on, before we get into the absolute chaos of this story, do me a quick favor and smash that subscribe button, because you are not going to want to miss what we break down next. All right, so the news breaks. Conservative commentator Charlie Kirk has been killed. The internet just explodes, and everybody, I mean everybody, thinks they know exactly who did it. A clear-cut case of left versus right violence. An open and shut case, right? Yeah, not even close. So let's just set the scene. The minute this news drops, a single, simple story takes over everything, everywhere, all at once. And that story was crystal clear, right? A far-left radical, probably some Antifa super soldier, finally went too far and took out a huge conservative voice. To a lot of people, this wasn't even a theory, it made perfect sense. And the reaction? It was instant, and it was explosive. You have to remember, the country was already basically a tinderbox, and this felt like someone threw a lit match on it. MAGA supporters were online, and they were talking about going to war over this. The stakes could not have been higher. But then we started to actually learn a little bit about the shooter, a 22-year-old named Tyler Robinson. And that simple, easy story, well, it started to completely unravel. And this is the moment where that whole narrative just shatters into a million pieces. The expectation was some far-left activist who hates guns, right? The reality was, well, the total opposite. He came from a MAGA family, he loved guns, and he drove a Dodge Challenger. I mean, you can't get much further from the Antifa stereotype. And it goes even deeper than that. His parents weren't just kinda conservative, they were registered Republicans. His dad was a very, very avid Trump supporter. This was not some commune raising a radical. And to make things even more confusing, this wasn't some loner living in a basement. His own mother was on Facebook calling him a genius with a 4.0 GPA who just won a huge scholarship. This was her options are endless kid. Okay, so the shooter's profile is just a giant question mark. So let's pivot to the crime scene itself, because believe it or not, the evidence he left behind is even weirder. You have got to hear this. The bullet casings he used were engraved. The first one says, "Hey fascist, catch!" Okay, that sounds political, right? The second has lyrics from Bella Ciao, a famous Italian anti-fascist anthem. Still political. Then we get to number 3. Notice his bulges, "Oh, what's this?" Which is a furry meme. And the last one, found in the chamber, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." Just a joke you'd hear in a middle school locker room. I mean, seriously, what on earth does any of that mean? Is this a political radical, an internet troll, or something else entirely? Okay, to even start to make sense of this, we have to zoom way out and look at these really strange, really dark corners of online political culture, where the battle lines are not nearly as clear as you think they are. So you need to know about groups like the Groyper Army. They're an alt-right, white nationalist movement led by a guy named Nick Fuentes. Now, you'd think they would be on the same team as Charlie Kirk, right? Nope. They were actually some of his harshest critics, constantly attacking him and his mainstream brand of conservatism. And check this out. Right after the shooting, Nick Fuentes himself tweeted this, demanding that the Trump administration release all the info on the assassin. He's not blaming the left, he's questioning the official story and calling out his own side. This just changes the entire game. All of a sudden, the most likely motive isn't left versus right anymore. It might be a sign of some bizarre, completely online civil war that's happening inside the right wing itself. So where does that leave us? Let's try to piece this absolute mess together. Okay, let's just run through the pure chaos one more time. We have a shooter from a MAGA family who loves guns, who kills a pro-gun conservative star. But he does it with bullets engraved with anti-fascist song lyrics, mixed with furry memes and middle school jokes. It makes absolutely no sense. So after all of that, what was the real motive? Was it political? Was it personal? Was this just some deranged cry for attention? You know, what if trying to squeeze this into any political box is the whole problem? What if that right-wing civil war wasn't the motive, but actually a symptom of something else? Maybe the real motive isn't political at all. Maybe it's just wrong. What if the nonstop online feuds, the memes, the trolling, the endless arguments, what if it all just broke his brain? It wasn't about choosing a side, not left versus right, not even Groyper versus conservative. It was about being totally lost in the noise. Not a soldier fighting a war, but a casualty of it. Something fundamentally and tragically wrong.
So, I have to ask you, what do you think? Was this some calculated political act with a really confusing message we just can't decode? Or was it the tragic end for a really smart kid who just got lost in the chaos of internet brain rot? Let me know what you think down in the comments.
And that is the breakdown. If you want more explainers that cut right through the noise and get to the heart of the story, make sure you like this explainer and you subscribe to the channel. We will see you on the next one.